Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today I'm very excited to be able to show you a game called Windlands. This is a prototype version of an upcoming first-person action-adventure game. We're going to be exploring this beautiful, open, massive world and trying to take down some sort of colossus or battle mech type creatures which aren't actually in the prototype yet, but that's okay because the traversal system is so good that the game actually plays just fine as an exploration game just by itself. So it's got like the visuals of Wind Waker HD, as you can see this beautiful, stunning desert going off into the distance, combined with like some Attack on Titan style traversal with grappling hooks, plus eventually some sort of Shadow of the Colossus style fight system, which is going to be fantastic. I can't believe people aren't talking more about this game, but it is actually just a prototype, like I said, and it's up on Indiegogo right now, and I think it's about 11,000 out of 14,000 to its goal, so it very likely will make its goal because it's still got almost the better part of the whole month left. But why don't we take a bit of a look around and we'll get acclimated to what exactly this Windlands thing is all about. So you'll see there's some beacons of light, some points of interest available for us to try and climb up to in various directions. One up there, there's one over there, one off in the distance, one over there. I don't see one over there, but that's okay. And there's also some little collectibles that we'll be able to run into. So I'll give you a little bit of a rundown on how the movement feels, what we might expect from later on, and why I think this is a game that I'm really excited for all of a sudden. Again, I'm really freaking shocked that people aren't covering this left and right. But maybe it just hasn't reached critical mass yet, and maybe you guys watching this will be part of the catalyst to help kick things off in a bigger way. Not that I mean to inflate my own ego or anything, granted, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, I definitely think this game looks really, really good. So normally I like to start us out in the very beginning area of wherever the game starts us out. In this case, I actually wanted to frame our positioning a little bit better, because the area that opens us up in is, you know, a little bit less beautiful and stunning looking from the outset, so I moved us over to the desert. So when you start up, you'll expect to find a link to the Indiegogo and like a tutorial area and a bunch of other stuff that you can choose to read, some stuff about the buttons and such, and you can feel free to go partake. In fact, I highly encourage you to check out the tutorial because it's quite useful, because the grappling hook system in this, which is really, really good, is not necessarily the most intuitive thing to figure out by yourself without any knowledge of how it works. So I guess we need to hit those points of interest, and then this door perhaps will open up and we can head inside. So you're probably wondering, why don't I use some of these freaking grappling hooks that I keep talking about? Well, I'm going to in just a second. I just want to grab this little glowing orb first. Also, really great soundtrack. From what I've heard so far, it really sets the tone. The atmosphere and the ambience of this is outstanding, and I'm loving every minute of both the visuals and the auditory experience. So you'll notice I just did a bit of a wall jump sort of unsuccessfully, and that is one of the very, very important moves that we have accessible to our character. But, you know, like I said, the big one, we got this sucker here, and we've actually got one grapple mapped to each mouse button. So we can actually use left and right to grab onto things and then continue to move our chain forward as we want to try and climb over stuff. Look at that freaking, whatever that is. It's like a pile of rocks with a bunch of vines and roots stuck through them. So where do I want to go? Well, these all look like interesting places. I think the tutorial area, the start area, is over in that direction. I'm not really sure how to get to any of these beacons, and honestly, I've only played this for a couple of minutes so far. Maybe I should say closer to 10. But it's transfixing. Like, within just a moment or two, I was very much invested in looking around and starting to take in things. Something about the vast nature of this map combined with the art style just really pulls you in quickly. One thing that sort of... Oh god, this is one of the mech's hands, isn't it? That's a little terrifying. One of the things that I noticed, though, right away that was a little bit maybe off-putting, though, was the fact that the character is so momentum-based. And I get why it was done, and I think it was entirely intentional, but maybe it's still being fine-tuned a little bit. But just when you walk around, everything has such an incredible level of gravity to it. Like, when you start walking in a direction, it's very hard to course correct once you're going in that direction. And if you need to do something drastic at the last second, you're probably not going to have a lot of latitude to be able to pull that off. And I feel like there should be a separate sort of physics system a little bit for the way that the running controls work versus the way the grappling controls work. Because as you can see, it just sort of like space shot myself up into the air. I also kind of feel like maybe a little bit of a jet thruster might be useful to give yourself a little bit more fine-tuning momentum. Because right now, if you don't set your course properly as you're starting to fall, you just kind of fall, and that's the end of it. You fall like a stone. But, you know, you have to get a little bit better than I am at the grapple system to really be able to appreciate its nuance. And I could tell just from the tutorial that the way I was approaching things were just completely wrong at first. So I think after a while of trying to move around, get more acclimated, well, maybe it'll have a little bit of a learning curve, sort of like the recruits in Attack on Titan, and maybe I'll feel much more accomplished for the fact that I was able to learn and get better instead of just instantly have that gratification set onto myself. Look how pretty this is. There's like moments of fog happening, and you're probably wondering why I'm not just shooting everything. You can only grapple onto certain points, namely organic points. Dirt and leaves seem to be the best targets for that. So I think we need to find a proper way up to here, because I don't see a lot of good ways for things to happen. Granted, I should probably be using my wall jump a little bit more, but again, that's my sort of novice nature to approach this incorrectly. So let's go over here. Thinking maybe with correct use of wall jumps, you can actually do some really good grappling, and what I'm thinking I need to be doing is grappling up to stuff and then wall jumping up onto it for the best effectiveness. And I'm thinking, let's get some momentum going up, and then we'll just try and keep going up, and maybe I can just keep heading in one direction, provided I can not run into those leaves. Oh, we got it. Okay, so we can at least get up to here now. This is like truly a unique experience. I haven't really seen much of anything else like this, and like the fact that you can do this sort of Terraria style, grab one side, grab another side, and then hang in the middle thing is freaking awesome. Like, I've never seen anybody try that before in a first-person game, and I think there's a lot still waiting to be implemented in this. So where we're at right now, probably still like a long way to go. And I love the fact that there's no UI also. It's a lot more immersive for that. And can I just kind of like grab on with both? Yeah, there we go. Now what I want to try and do is hit over here. It's a little bit strategic too, the way you have to approach trying to grab onto things and not fall, which is also something I appreciate. Maybe I could, yeah, something like that would be just fine. Alright, cool. So we're actually up somewhere a little bit higher for once, instead of just walking around on the desert floor. Not that there's anything wrong with that either. Your jump, by the way, is almost disproportionately high, in case you didn't notice, which is definitely necessary for something like this. Jump, jump, jump. There we go. Use it to get a little height, and then grapple back down to hold your secure position. I think it's another sort of advanced technique that I'm still just figuring out, or maybe not advanced, but like intermediate. So the point of interest is over there, coming out of like the eye of that thing. Oh, it's embedded in the desert. Imagine if that thing gets up and starts walking around. That'll be terrifying. I think for the size of this desert, and it's pretty vast, honestly, but like, if the guys are going to be that big to fight, it's got to even be a lot bigger. So maybe some of this mist here is just sort of temporary for now, until we can uncover some things. And maybe this whole map just expands further and further. I do see some plateaus off in the distance, but those might just be sort of set dressing, and I kind of suspect that it is for now. But I don't have, you know, illusions that this is all completely done and implemented, because like I said, this is just a prototype version. I have a feeling there's a lot left to do. And also there are some other modes that you can turn on, like if you want, there's like a hardcore grappling mode, which I'm not sure what exactly that changes. But there's also like fall damage and stuff, which I just figured for the sake of this video would be more frustrating than helpful or interesting to watch. But you guys can feel free to go grab this prototype version yourselves and play around to your heart's content. I think you'll have a good time just with this. And, you know, try out the various variables, see if you are better than me at grappling and such, and you probably will be. I would like to get to at least one of these points of interest before we wrap up, though. And I'm thinking it might be this one. This one seems like I have the most chance of reaching. I think I should be able to make that jump right there. I love that we're sort of... Oh, no. Oh, there's nothing to grab. That's bad news. I feel like we're kind of positioning this as, like, crazy awesome cel-shaded fantasy combined with the realism of being able to grapple onto everything and, like, have a physics system for once, which is just a really cool way to frame everything. I can't really seem to gush enough about this, can I? Is there not another way up? I guess I have to go back over to this island again. Oh no, I've fallen! Oh, ultimate disaster. Everything's fallen apart. Oh no, I'm back to where I started. I guess that's the one very frustrating thing, is if you fail, you have a long trek before you can get back up. And yes, I said Trek, not Shrek. No, don't misquote me. Well, that means I have a little bit of climbing ahead of me before I make it up there, so you know what? Maybe I'll just leave this for you guys to figure out. I definitely love to explore this in my own time, though, and take in all the sights and sounds, and there are still collectibles and such, and again, I don't know what, if any, relevance they have, but I'm kind of hoping maybe they give me, like, some jump height or something, just to sort of augment my experience, because I think that would be a nice way to reward the player for looking at things and looking around and spending time looking at the scenery, you know, to give them sort of an actual tangible upgrade to how your player works would be just kind of awesome, but, you know, maybe there's other elements to it as well, and maybe the collectibles have something to do with something, some gameplay system that isn't even implemented yet. But anyway, I think that's going to do it. Windlands, go check it out right now. If you enjoy what you see, consider backing it on Indiegogo. I will have links for everything, of course. And definitely, definitely, definitely let me know what you think about this in the comments. Oh my god, I've fallen again. Alright. Well, I knew I was going to wrap things up anyway. But yeah, leave me a comment for sure. Let me know what you think. I want to know right now. Do you see this as becoming as awesome as I see it in my head? Because I feel like it's got every bit of potential. I should have also probably mentioned, like, overgrowth also, because I feel like there's a little bit of that sort of a vibe in here. Although, you know, combat is not actually a thing right now. But yeah, anyway, I will wrap this up. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. As always, new episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. All my links for social media and information are available right in the description of this video, as well as a download link for this particular prototype. It is available for both Oculus Rift and non-Oculus Rift, so in case you happen to have it, absolutely strap on your VR headset and go to town. I think you'll have an even better time than I had, and I had a pretty good time as it is. And this is a Unity game. Isn't that incredible? So amazing the things people are accomplishing in this engine. Anyway, I don't want to gush anymore. I think we've said enough. So I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic night. See you all later.